Today, I'm excited and honored to have a diagnostic guru with me, Julia Duran, somebody who I've known for quite some time now. We've crossed paths a few times in former lives of former companies that I've worked at. Julia was introduced to me with some of my colleagues, and so I feel that we've come full circle here and having you on Diagnostic Guru. So, welcome today, Julia.
Thank you so much, Leslie. It's my honor, actually.
Well, thank you. And I'm really excited to talk about your background. I know we're going to have a full bio on Julia, so we ask you to read up on it. And I'm just going to touch on a few snippets here with Julia to get started. But your background is quite impressive, not just being a founder and CEO of your own company, South Geeks, but also coming from extensive experience in leadership roles at IBM, Verizon, and Hewlett Packard, companies that everybody knows about, and just how compromise coming from the corporate world, building your own company, and taking that experience and being successful in this market, and then also digging a little bit how you're utilizing the newer technology, which we've talked about privately with AI. Developing software platforms in the healthcare and fintech, and just also your background. I mean, having an international background, you're so worldly, right? You're born originally from Argentina. You live in the Netherlands. You're always in the States. So you have quite a view of what's going on in the industry across the different economies, as well as the different geopolitical profiles. So I can't wait to learn more from you and ask you more specific questions on your background.
Super. Sounds good on paper.
Well, from that, I mean, just, with your experiences and the companies you've worked at, and even leading your own company as a female founder, what's your greatest success to date?
Um, I guess for me, the moment. Well, we need to go into maybe the details of how do you define success, but I'm gonna take it as like a business success. For me, when I moved to the Netherlands 3 years ago, I got married. I moved here, new society, new country, new weather, new language. And I struggled for a while to keep up with my company. So for a while, I was not doing my 100% in the company. Let's say for like 4 to 6 months. And it was very surprising for me how my team stepped up and they like they managed to keep the company going, to keep it in the direction that we defined together. And it was a way of realizing, hey, this is much bigger than me. This is not just me trying to push forward and have things done, but this is actually a whole system that is working. Aside from like I have a lot of admiration for my team members, but I can rely on these people, and these people go like they're really putting a vision, not me. They're putting a vision into action, and that for me was like one of the moments where I felt the most successful. Of course, we had like some financial milestones that we were very proud of, and on and on. But it didn't give me such a feeling, such a rewarding feeling as the one I felt when I was like, "Hey, I can die tomorrow, and this project of mine will keep on going and keep on like um, feeding the families that all the employees are feeding with this, and following through with what we committed with our clients. So yeah, that would be my most successful moment.
What a mature thing to say, though, because think about it. I mean, you built this company and one amazing success that the people around you, right, you're all talking the same talk, walking the same walk, right? Like working synergistically to one another so you can trust them that they're going to continue on. But at the same
Yeah,
time, it's okay to see yourself, how do I want to say this? Like in other jobs that someone said to me, everyone's replaceable, right? And so
yeah,
I think as leaders, that to me is a true telling of you as a leader that you're okay with the fact that, if I can hit by a bus tomorrow, please, no, that's not going to happen. But if something happens to me, my company's still going to be successful on what I built.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
beautiful thing.
yeah, and I agree with everyone is I have a dual idea with that because yes, I agree everyone is replaceable, but everyone is unique as well.
Yeah,
So when I think of my team members, yes, I can replace them all. Maybe yes. Is the replacement going to do the same exact job? Well, not
right,
quite, right? So I think it
right.
adds some nuance to that phrase.
No, and I love that because when someone said that to me, I said, "Well, what am I doing here? Like, why am I working so
Yeah,
hard to show you my unique, authentic self if you're just going to replace me anyways?" So, no, it's
yeah,
true. But I think it's nice to see that I'm sure your team feels the trust, from you as a leader, and also in the fact that they feel they want to lead with purpose, right? Not just for themselves, but also for you and the company. And that's how the company was still able to allow you the time to do some personal changes in your life, which personal life we seem to forget, don't we, as leaders and as career women, we always seem to always put that one on the back burner.
yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, 100%. And the other phrase, you mentioned this phrase that was told to you. Someone told to me when I started my company, they said, well, you will realize that nobody push for your company as much as you because it's your company. And I understand where they're going for, but I think that if you create a nice environment, a good culture, and something people really trust on, well, that's not necessarily true, right? So
Yeah.
you get all these like the whole community pushing for you as for your vision as well. So yeah, it's funny how all these sayings come handy for some things, but they also have another side.
What made you decide to leave the comfy corporate, position and start your own company in a sector that's really competitive?
Yeah, yeah. I had very good experiences with these corporations. These are very well established, each of them different. I think I got the best education from IBM. Of course, massive, large. The culture is very nice, and there's so many good things I can say about corporations. There's also a lot of, like everyone knows about the politics. If you want to make a career move, it happens slow. Like there are also these cons. But at one point in my life, I felt um, a little bit like that my experience was not getting rounded. In a big corporation you have one portion of a job and then you're going to be doing that for most part of your day to day, and it's not that you can contribute in a larger scale. And if you ask me, do you prefer being a jack of all trades, or like I prefer trying new things, and like I'm very curious. So at one point, that part of me was not getting satisfied, like this curiosity. Of course, there's something to learn in every position, and I could have done that for years, but it was just like not stimulating enough. And I was at one point, I was like, well, okay, I think there's this opportunity I saw an opportunity in the market where we could add value, we could do it a little different to what my competitors are doing, and I said, well, maybe it's the time. And I just jumped because when you try to do, I know of a lot of people that start companies while keeping their corporate job.
Yeah.
For me, this is something that wouldn't work. I'm not very good at like multitasking my attention. Like, of course, I am good at multitasking in general. Like, I can cook
Yeah.
and
That's a
listen to the
female
radio. But
gene. Yeah, it's a
female,
female
yeah.
gene.
I was gonna say, but I don't think I'm good at. And whenever I had like two big projects happening in my life at the same time, I'm just not good at them. So it was just like I jumped and I started the company. And at the beginning, it was hard because there was no income and everything was so uncertain. But I'm glad things started moving, and I'm immersed in an amazing community. People help you. People are very generous. I got a lot of good advice, a lot of a lot of like people sharing their knowledge, more mature people introducing me to other people in their network. Like I'm very lucky for the mentors and the peers I had in my life. Um, and then I think that's how it went. I was 35 years old, and I
Mhm.
remember thinking, oh, everyone, like, because you read all the startup stories, and everyone is like 19, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be so old. But I actually think that like starting a company after having these corporate experience and after having some extra exposure, having some good like work practices and things you develop
Mhm.
with maybe more time, was actually good.
Yeah, you learn what not to do, what to do, which paths to take, and which ones to ignore, where a lot of young founders are just like eyes wide open and just go for it. Not to say that
Yeah,
you weren't, but you're more calculated, right? And you were success. I mean, you were immediately bringing in revenue, right? And able to make an income easily within the first year, I think when we spoke previously.
yeah, yeah.
That's impressive.
Within the first 6 months, yeah, that was good, and it removed a lot of the fear, right?
Yeah, I mean that
Um,
shows that you were ready. One, two, you had a right team behind you, right? You went three, and you had a right idea, and you hit a niche market that was unfounded, which I think is interesting too, because I love the name of your company, South Geeks. Could you talk a little bit more about that and the premise around it?
Yeah, well, it's this is a love or hate situation because some people tell me, "Oh my God, the name of your company is so horrible." I personally don't like it. I'm always trying to convince the team to change it. So initially, we were three partners when we started the company, and I'm going to be very honest about it. We voted, and this was my least favorite, but
Wow.
I was outnumbered, and
What was your favorite? Can you share?
I don't remember, but it was
Okay.
something more abstract. What I don't like
Okay.
about South Geeks is that I feel it's two words that are not, it's
Mm,
not that one is modifying the other. It's just like
yeah.
two,
Two
like,
words like juxtaposed together,
yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
like not a perfect puzzle piece, but it has meaning, right? The reason with
Totally.
this, right? So I think that makes sense. So why don't you tell us what the meaning is behind
Yeah,
it?
totally. Yeah. But the good part is I always considered myself a geek. And I think everyone in
Geek
my
is
company
good.
kind of, yeah, totally. I don't see the negative connotation to the word, although I know some people, maybe from non STEM careers maybe see it more
Yeah,
negatively. For me, it's just fantastic. Like I like being a geek. I think it has a lot of good qualities onto the way your brain reasons and the quirky things that you're interested in. I adore it. And we are from the South because most of us are from South America and a lot of my team members from Central America in any way, like southern
yeah,
from our main market, which is North America. So it does fit us. And I think in time, it's funny because for Spanish speakers, sometimes they make it like it sounds more like soggy or something very weird.
yeah.
But even that sounds tender. So and well, now it's kind of intertwined with our identity. But I think it has a lot to do with like yes, we're geeks from the South. Like it's a very
Yeah.
straightforward explanation.
Well, and it's not like South United States. I mean, it's south of the Americas, so which I
Yeah,
think is great because it's also culturally sound and it's who you are and where you grew
yeah,
up and where you come from. So it's something you're very proud of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Being a founder, I'm sure you've seen a lot of, scenarios and examples, and also just maybe from your former experience too, where you could share with the people who are listening today, what is your one good, your one bad, and your one ugly in your career?
Yeah. So uh, I have a lot of things I could share. I guess an ugly one, and we went through that recently. So we love our clients. We love our clients. But we had two situations in which clients didn't honor contracts or agreements that we have made, and that was very disappointing.
Mm,
I am from the philosophy that trust starts by trusting, and it requires some kind of courage. So I'm usually trusting at the beginning of our relationship, and the disappointment of making, because you have a business or whatever, but you are making a connection with a person before signing a contract, and the disappointment that comes from like, hey, we made an agreement and you're just not honoring it. That
yeah,
just like, forget lawyers and all of it. Just like it feels sucky, but I guess it's normal as well, and it gives you how do Americans say, like a tougher skin, like
yeah,
a thicker
yeah.
skin.
Thicker
Yeah.
skin. Yeah, yeah. Do you have an example of a bad that necessarily didn't turn into an ugly that you
Um,
would share?
yes, of course. Yeah. Sometimes it's funny because it's easier to remember the the very bad things and
Yeah,
the very good things, and then the grays, which are most of the things that happen in our lives, are not
yeah.
like super exciting or super exciting or super horrible. Um, but for bad, um, I guess I mentioned that we're three partners started the company. One of them very like before we became profitable, he had a lot of kids, and he was like, I cannot, like I need to go back to work. So he left very early. But then one of my partners stayed for a longer time. And at one point, like we got to a size of the company that he was like, I'm done with growing this. Like I'm okay. And it took me a while, and I'm not considering this as a even though it was impactful and heavy, I'm not considering this as a horrible experience, um, and not a good one either, because there were so many components of good and bad things in there that I think we can do an average. But
Yeah,
at one point we said we're just going different places. Like
yeah,
like every decision we need to make and trying to invest for the future, and you're just like wanting to keep the status quo, not to miss anything. So that was a bad time. It was sad. It was grieving.
mm,
Um, I thought I was gonna be super lonely not having a partner. This was like oh geez, like 4 years ago already.
wow,
Um, but then a lot of good things came from that. Like I
yeah,
didn't, as I mentioned, the thing where I moved to the Netherlands was after that, and I didn't feel lonely at all. Like there were a lot of positive things coming from that, and he's happy and living the best life. But it felt sad. I don't know if that
yeah.
qualifies as bad, but it
It's a
felt
tough
sad for a
time.
while.
What do you think, being a a female founder and a CEO of your own company, what's the hardest thing that you're really faced today with the economy? And what's the best thing that you maybe, or changes or anything new that's happened maybe within the past year or so with all this new AI technology coming out?
Yeah, the market has not been easy for us in the past 2 years. I think in general, it has been a little bit difficult. We stopped growing for a while. Now we are back in the trend that we were previously on, but it took us um, a lot of self-doubting what we were doing, revisiting the model. I think at the end it was also good that this happened, because you start the company, it starts working well, it starts growing, and you don't have the need to stop and see what you're doing because things are working. And these 2 years, they force us to like, are we selling the way we should be selling? Are we communicating the way we should be communicating? Like, are we doing everything we need on marketing? Like, do we know enough about marketing? There were so many questions that we didn't even need to ask ourselves before, and because the market was so hard on us these past years, we got into this process of a lot of questioning,
Mm,
which again I have this ambivalence, right? It was good and bad. Like it's not pleasant to be like having all these doubts and this uncertainty, but it was good as well because like of all the conversations that were needed that we that triggered in us. Um, we are super excited for AI. It seemed at the beginning of the whole AI wave that I've heard a lot of people, and especially I had engineers in my team that they were like, we're gonna lose our jobs. We're not gonna be needed.
Mhm.
We don't see it that way. We use a lot of agentic AI. We use AI to get rid of all the things we don't like doing on the repetitive task. I don't do development myself anymore, but
Ah,
from the beginning of my career, like there's things that I didn't enjoy very much about developing, like documenting or testing. Those were the things I didn't like.
mhm.
And you can do a lot of automations now. Oh, well, actually AI, which is a little bit more, but um, on those things as well. So I think it's a great opportunity. I read the other day someone saying you're not going to be replaced by AI, but you're going to be replaced by a human being that knows how to use AI.
Yeah,
Good.
that's, yeah.
And yeah, and that's the feeling we want to give to everyone in our company. Like we've been helping everyone training, not just for the sake of our company, but also to help them. A lot of my team members are very young, and we want to
Mhm.
make sure there's a place for them in the workforce in 30, 40 years from now. And we think it starts with education. So we've been doing a lot of that and a lot of self-education and a lot of like also changing the mindset.
Mhm.
Of like, well, what like anything repetitive, like let's anything that could be like needs a lot of data, that let's not use the old method. Let's go with this one. So it's mostly a shift in our mindset.
Are you finding that we're coming back a little bit and things are becoming a little bit more comfortable? You're maybe to hire or build new systems or bring in different things that you kind of had to take a pause on because of the economy?
Yes, I had a lot of conversations with business owners in the past 2 months, and so I noticed some things are different. First of all, there was a lot of stalling before.
Mhm.
Beginning of 2024, full 2024, and up to mid 2025, it was like people were like, okay, we want to see what's going to happen. So a lot of projects were on hold, or they were trying to, okay, let's see what we're going to do with the team we have. And they were just trying to be scrappy. Um, I I think the people that were doing that, they're just like, okay, we're not gonna wait anymore. Like if
Yeah.
things are not taking off, we're not gonna wait anymore. Like it's been enough. On the other hand, there were a lot of people that were like absorbing AI, assuming that they were not going to need any more engineers and not any more engineering mindset, and that they're going back and
Mhm.
I'm talking not just small companies but big corporations as well, and
Wow.
that created like we are in the business of building teams and building software, so that created a little bit more like before there was an abundance of engineers being
Mhm.
free in the market,
Yeah.
and now like the scarcity is starting to work again, so like it created more opportunities as well. um and I think a lot of people are also like just well, there are a lot of new products around AI. Um, and and yes, they are AI products, but they have engineers in the foundation of how they're gonna work, and they still need an engineer like thinking algorithmically, or data science, or well, depends on what industry they are. For whatever they're building. And there's so many new developments because of these new investments. So it feels like, yeah, I think we're getting and like new wins, from
Oh,
the tail,
nice.
and things are moving again. Yeah.
So from a personal note, what makes you feel best at work? And do you have like rituals or routines or practices that you put in place, to help you get into your space and, get through your day,
Yeah.
especially a woman leader and a CEO?
Yeah. So Well, first of all, I discovered I like connecting, and I like connecting one on one. I'm kind of an introvert, so if I go to an event with a lot of people, I feel very shy. I might pretend I'm not for a while,
Yeah.
but I am in general very shy. So I like connecting, and part of my job is building these relationships. And I love when I establish like a genuine. I think I'm very genuine, and I like when I establish a genuine connection with whoever,
Mm,
our clients, our vendors, like whoever I'm interacting with. So that energizes me. On my day-to-day habits, I need to sleep. Like for me, sleeping is like I hear some people saying like I sleep like 5 hours per day, and I could die.
sleep,
Yeah,
yes. Super important. I mean, I can't get enough
totally.
of it.
Yeah, totally. And then I can even like I remember I have not done it in a while, but I remember just like even a 10-minute power nap. Like it's good for me. I
Um,
really need to sleep. If I'm not well rested,
yeah.
I'm not nice. I'm not doing it for me, it's for others. Like I'm just not nice if I don't sleep. Um I guess also like I need to like everyone I need to fill my cup, right? So I like having some intellectual stimuli every day. Like if I can read something, I do a Sudoku, like anything that can like wait, especially if I hear a new idea that puts me
Yeah.
into curiosity mode. I like that. I also need to like use my body, like exercise, like try to be active. Something I'm really struggling with is the weather in the Netherlands is really something else, and maybe I don't feel as like
Motivate.
invited to exercise
Yeah. Well, I
by
mean,
the environment.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's something I've been struggling with. And I think it's very basic. I think we all know how to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just putting it in practice sometimes. Like, you know, you eat well, you do some exercise, you sleep well, you have good relationships. Like I like, you know, having good conversations with friends, like all these things that feed the soul and the brain, and like they're just good. It's just sometimes finding the time and it's all about prioritizing, right? And
Yeah.
saying,
Exactly.
hey, it's also part like resting is as important as working, and
Yeah.
it's your job as a business owner to find work for to find time to do that. So
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've worked for some companies where it's like they shame you in taking a holiday, and
yeah,
you're on from first thing in the morning till late at night, and that if you people brag about how many hours they work, I'm just like, I am not proud about that moment.
yeah, yeah,
Burnt out, tired.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's also like not just for the person, but of course for the person, right? So
Yeah.
whoever, like whenever I find someone in my company that is like, you have not taken a vacation, just please go on vacations. But not just because I care for the person per se, but it's also bad for your business. You want to have your
Yeah.
people refreshed and well rested and ready to get excited
Yeah.
about what they're doing. You don't want just like someone sitting and going over life without excitement. What's the
Yeah.
point of it?
A bunch of wallflowers, right? They're just like
Totally. Yeah.
going through the motions. It's not a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want them to be just as an innovative. I think that creativity is something that's followed through this curiosity is something that's followed through this conversation with you because that's really what got you to where you are today. And it's
Yeah.
how you practice your daily life to to
Yeah.
constantly be creative.
I try to.
Inspired.
Yeah.
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 So what's your superpower?
Well, I mentioned being genuine.
Hmm.
I think that's I've been asked this question questions many times, the question of the superpower many times, and I don't know if I'm consistent with my response because I'm not.
Maybe
Um, I'm,
change.
I'm, I'm not 100%. It could be, but I feel like being genuine
Yeah, I like that.
could be. Like I say what I do. I I'm no bullshit. I express my needs. Like I'm very straightforward.
Yeah.
Um, and that is something about me. It's very easy to find things about you that you don't like, but this is something about me that I like very much.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it makes things easy.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate you spending the time with me today and hope that you stay warm and that spring is
Yeah,
coming
you too.
soon. I know,
Yeah, spring come.
I know.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure for me.
Me too, Julia. Thank you.